there we go. Now it's recording. Okay. Hello. My name is Eddie Mannan, here with my partner Carter Myers, and we are here to present Team 55's final arcade game, Joust. From our first slide here, you can already see some of the additional features that we've added, but we'll take more time to talk about them here in a bit.
So just a little outline of what we'll be going over in the presentation. So we have our special features, which include the added images to the heroes and all the enemies, some background music to play in the background while you play the game. There's a high score list that you can input your name at the end, and it'll save your name and the score that you received. A basic start/help screen at the beginning, which gives you instructions and controls, and a secret boss level at the end of the game that you can try to beat, but it's very hard. Our overall design had fairly high cohesion and pretty low coupling. We'll get into that more later. And a bug that we found was the high score issue, and we'll get into more detail on that a little bit later.
All right, so here we're going to talk about our special features a little bit. We ended up implementing 5, kind of 6 different features. The first one we added was we added images to our hero and to all our enemies. We decided to go through and make the heroes and enemies different emojis. So the hero is the laughing, crying face emoji. The basic enemy is the clown emoji. And then our shooter enemy is the cowboy hat emoji. Our boss is also has a image added to him, but we'll get into that here in a minute when we watch the video. We added background music, which is also directly related to what the image we used for our boss. Feature 3, we added a high score list that saves the name and the score. So once you die and get hit by an object, it will ask you for a name through a J option panel. And after you enter it, it will then take the name that you entered and the score that you had before you died, and it will save it in a text document. So afterwards you can go in and you can look and see who has played and what scores they got. The next feature we added was we added a basic start screen that also doubled as a help screen. So it said the name of the game, who created it, but it also gives you some instructions on your different controls for the game. And as stated a minute ago, we added a boss and a secret boss level. So we will go ahead and play our video now. Now, you could probably see there at the end, right when we got hit by one of the bullets from the final boss, everything kind of stopped for a minute. Unfortunately, due to the way our screen capturing software works, it did not show, but that little pause was where it threw up the J option pane and asked us for our name, and then we hit enter and it saved it.
All right, so here's our final UML for the project. If you look on the right side of the screen, you can see our largest class there, the character class. The character class was kind of an overall abstract superclass for all of the objects that could be collided with in the game. So that includes the enemies, the bullets, the eggs, the hero itself. So it implemented all of their hitboxes, where they spawned in at, how they moved around, how they got updated, and then all of the methods associated with interacting with each other and changing things about the program. Over on the left, it basically just shows the viewer, the component, and the level loader tiles, which how it worked was it took the text file that had all the levels, and then it would load them in, and which would do the platforms. background, and where each enemy and the hero spawned.
Design decisions and tricky bugs throughout our coding. One of the design decisions we went with was to implement a key listener for our different buttons. This is already something that was built into Java. We just had to import it, and it was very nice because we could tell it to either go off the button press or off the button release, and it made overall controlling our character and shifting through the levels very easy and very simple. Tile-like board mapping. Each of our levels was based off of a text document that our level loader tiles went through and read, and depending on what character it came across would vary which type of shape was drawn, where the heroes and the monsters were drawn, and how the platforms were formatted, kind of doing it pixel by pixel, but on a bit of a bigger scale. One tricky bug that we ran into, which we discussed a little bit earlier, was for a while, whenever we had the prompt show up for the high scoreboard, sometimes it would ask us one time, and other times it would ask us two or three times, which was not ideal. We think it might have been, so what we had to do to fix it was we implemented a Boolean flag to where once it got our name, it set it to false and it wouldn't go through and ask us again. We're still not completely sure why it would ask us multiple times, but we did manage to get over that little issue.
So a few of the lessons learned here. So we realized that what we should have done differently from the start is put all of our enemies and other objects you can collide with into an array list all together when we were working with managing collisions and all that. Instead, at the beginning, what we were doing is putting each type in its own individual array list and then going through each of those array lists, which made it take a lot longer, and it was harder to implement all the methods for the objects. Our biggest surprise while working is how important it is to reuse methods. We saw it a little bit in class, how reusing methods and inheritance can help reduce the amount of reproduced code. However, in this project, we saw in the end how all of the methods we used for the objects were inherited from the character class, which made it a lot less replicated code. What we discovered by the end, so we're both avid players of Minecraft. This experience really showed us how much effort and time they put into producing Minecraft on Java. Just making this little game, we had to sink many hours into it. We couldn't really even fathom how much time the creators of Minecraft had to sink in to make it such a great game.
Alrighty, and that was our final project video for CSSE 220. Thank you for watching.